Good evening, boring. The clouds were a bit slow moving out. That's why it took a bit longer than originally planned. So here's the plan for the night. We are putting the Dwarf 3 to the ultimate test with the Dark Shark Nebula. I took darks as required. We have a full battery and it is plugged into power, into the main adapter. We're going with 60-second exposure, and we have a wide enough field of view to capture the entire dark shark and the nebulosity around it. Thank you. Looking forward to see what that will do. The big challenge now is to verify and validate that we are indeed imaging the Dark Shark Nebula. Since Dwarf 3 is very insensitive to clouds, it will just keep stacking. We're gonna let it run. I will keep one eye on the radar because a wet dwarf is an unhappy dwarf. And I need to pull up a map of LDN1235. To see when we can establish a pattern of stars. As the image starts getting populated, I will submit it to astrometry and see if they will solve it for me. Good evening, Bill. The clouds were slow moving out, even though I put my request early for clear skies by 8. It was not to be. And in order to do due diligence, taking darks took time because these were 1 minute darks, so 10 darks, 10 minutes. My alignment of the tripod was spot on. So I went through the equatorial alignment, and Dwarf gave me the thumbs up saying perfect alignment, so I'm happy there. So we have taken the arcs. We have an equatorially mounted Dwarf 3. It is aligned, and we're going for 60-second exposures. The Dark Shark Nebula is considered one of the most difficult targets in the sky. So we'll see what Dwarf can do. The big question is, will it render the Dark Shark? So that'll be the only target tonight. Clouds will be moving in and out. We have, it's a partly cloudy sky, but unlike Stellina, who will stop stacking, Dwarf will keep capturing and rejecting. For now, current 9, stacked 9, with 990 to go. How was your golfing outing over the weekend, Bill? I hope weather was good. Good morning, Peter. Have you seen the comet yet? Bill, I am kicking myself for making a very bad blunder with that Betelgeuse video, where I showed the illustration of how it would take out the orbits all the way through Mars. I used a picture of the sun instead of using my own picture of Betelgeuse that I had taken, but I'll get over it. I took a screen capture of what is stacked so far and submitted it to astrometry.net, asking them to plate solve it. I just want to verify that we are in the right place. It says success. Indeed, it says we are astrometry seems to confirm that we are on target. Uh, it depends. If we're doing deep sky objects, then yeah, it'll be equatorial. The software that they provided for equatorial mount calibration can be used with Dwarf 2 as well. Right now, this target is forcing Dwarf to look over its shoulder, so to speak, because LDN is very close to the north, very close to Polaris. It just goes round and round Polaris. When we attempted to do LDN1235 with Seestar, it stopped stacking when the rotation was 90 degrees, because that the orientation of this target is going to rotate by a full 180 degrees before the night is over. Yeah, they just posted on Facebook also. I'm gonna try to get myself in trouble before the weekend by publishing a video that says the new Seestar specifications, and I'll qualify it that if I were the engineer to design it, that's how I would do it. But there is no place to put all of that in the title, so we just say specifications of the new Seestar. And then I'll get hate mail and views and traffic. from the picture, there seems to be either a suggestion of a dual camera, or that might be to mount the filter, that small circle above the big circle. ChatGPT has not been able to answer a simple question that I asked it, namely, how do I uninstall Windows Defender? Okay, we are current 19, stacked 15, so we are in a waiting pattern for the next cloud to pass. Peter, any chance you can email me the link or whatever you have to uninstall Microsoft Defender? Pompey Observatory at gmail.com. So we're waiting for this latest cloud to move out. Hello Randy, not yet. I just submitted this image to astrometry.net and it confirmed that we are on the target. Right now I'm seeing clouds, but that's about it. It's gonna be several hours before we resolve the dark shark. I figured since the night is going to be pretty much a waste with the broken clouds passing through all night long, I figured we'll go for a target that's very hard and we'll let it stack whenever there is a break in the clouds. If we don't get it tonight, we'll try again on some clearer night in the future, but there's really no point in doing multiple targets tonight. No, they would not be too happy if I went through the details of what actually happened. But the CPR itself was surprisingly uneventful. They they connected remotely to the Dwarf 3 via the USB port, and for that I was grateful that they had engineering foresight to provide an app that or the software that will still talk to the outside world. And then it was less than 10 minutes. They asked me if I had backed up the files so I don't lose them, and I told them I left the files there for them to see in case they wanted anything from them. But we did not lose any files. They just rebooted it remotely and it was up and running. They have been pushing firmware updates and app updates at an alarming rate, even though they have a small group of testers, including me. They are running a very tight schedule. Every time something surfaces, they patch it immediately, and it's a mystery what else breaks when you patch software. Can you spell Microsoft? Randy, we have had driving rain for the past 2 days, so the grass is happy. And looking at Astrospheric right now, they're still talking about broken clouds for the next several hours. We happen to be at the very edge of what could be crystal clear skies. Everything north of the thruway appears to be crystal clear. Everything south of the thruway is broken clouds. So don't know what it's going to take for Dwarf 3 to resume stacking. Astrometry confirmed that this is 16 SEP, which will put the dark shark somewhere around here, which may not be perfect. Thanks, Peter, got it. Yeah, Peter, there is nothing new there. The uninstall Windows feature with PowerShell, uh, it says uninstall Windows feature not available. So they uninstalled the uninstall Windows feature. Group policy does not open. I am able to disable it. I have it disabled, but it is still using up 130 some megabytes of RAM. It's sitting in memory, and that's what I want. I want my memory back. Yeah, I'm able to disable it with the registry. That I've done. I checked briefly on TCRB. It is still there. Hello Mike, long time no see. We're stacking again. Yay! Well, at least we stacked. Hello, Night Henry. I've been looking at images to get me some confidence that we're in the right place. Now that everybody has dwarf threes, all we see on Facebook is pictures of dwarf threes. Which may be why Seestar is in a hurry to unveil or announce their new telescope. And Vaonis plans to announce, they have a big unveiling on October 1st of their new telescope, or whatever it is. So we're going to be doing some serious comparison Thanks for watching, Randy. We have had good skies this summer. Peter, they approached me asking if I'm willing to help with testing the software, and then I bugged them on the hardware, and they sent me a Dwarf 3. I was actually asking them to send me my Dwarf 3 a bit early, And I was surprised when they said I don't have to pay for it. But I put in some long nights with the Dwarf lab engineers, debugging things and testing new features. The software still has, I don't know if you saw, they published a list of all the additional things that they plan to do between now and December. Right now they have me on retainer through January to keep testing things for them. I don't know, Bill. It's going to depend very much on what they are offering. When Stellina came out, and it was not easy shelling $4,000 to get a smart telescope, but it was the first smart telescope, and I don't regret it for a bit. It was an outstanding, still is a very good instrument. And then to my surprise, Vaonis went in the wrong direction from a 3-inch aperture to a 2-inch. And then Seestar came out with identical specifications to Vespera. They're selling Vespera for about 3 or 4 times what Seestar is, and then they went on a 3 or 4 different Vespera models, so I don't know what they're going to do next. If they go with a Stellina 2 with an upgraded sensor, I mean, Stellina remains the only telescope with a mechanical field derotator. It rotates the sensor as it's following the targets. Seestar, on the other hand, if they go with an 80 or 100, right now my best guess is a S80, which will double the light gathering capacity. Knight Henry, yeah, Vaonis said they will unveil on October 1st. They have a big unveiling. They're not telling us what it is yet. Their last 2 big unveilings were flops. So I don't know if they're going to do better this time or what. Let me see if I can find it. I received an email from them. I'm trying to find the email from Vaonis. Bill, I don't know if you heard that the planning board of the town of Pompey did not approve my application for subdivision. So plans right now are we are leasing a piece of land that I can use. We have not gotten to revisiting the potential construction there. Knight Henry, sorry, I'm unable to find the email that they sent me. Peter, we're looking at LDN1235 Dark Shark Nebula. But in reality, we are targeting clouds right now. Hello, Jacob. How are you feeling? Actually, yes, I have, Peter, seen satellite tracks. Let me pull. I just want the good news, Jacob. Peter, does this count as a satellite trail? This was obviously M31. Uh-oh, no. Sorry to hear that, Jacob. Ouch. Ooh, looks like we're stacking again. Went from 16 to 17. Jacob, can you get your nurses to subscribe? We are almost at 4100. I wonder where Zena is today. The clouds are not being added. We have clouds passing through. but I have seen quite a few satellite trails. Now it did very nicely with the North American Nebula. This is pretty much straight out of Dwarf 3. The field of view lends itself nicely to the big targets. Go ahead, Jacob. Is it by email or? Hi, Jeannie. Okay, let me check it. Wow. Yeah, I have seen that telescope or that assortment of 10. Then they went out to 48. Okay. Thanks, Jacob. I'll take a look at it. Now, I just want to show you quickly the wide angle on Dwarf 3. This is a mildly stacked image of the Orion constellation, and you can see Betelgeuse reddish. There is Betelgeuse, there is the Orion Nebula, the belt. So it's I'm already exploring the things that it can do. And those who have not seen this yet, that is 3 frames of the Milky Way. Did not realize that the moon was lighting up the house orange. But we're going to try to do the Milky Way some other night with Dwarf 3. Yes, please. I have no problem with that. If you're able to post links, by all means. Yeah, this is very nice picture, Bill. Thank you. If we are to believe astrospheric, we have a fair shot at getting it tomorrow morning. Otherwise, Tuesday, they're promising us clear skies in the morning also. October is next week, Bill. It's coming fast. I don't know if Helene is going to, or Helene, whatever they call the hurricane, if that's going to take out a big chunk of our sky next week. Hello Zena, welcome back. Peter, LDN1235 is a dark nebula in the sense that dust is covering the stars, and that's what we're looking for, a dark hole. When let me submit this again to astrometry. Stand by. I am pulling a picture to show. This is a picture of the Dark Shark Nebula. The Dark Shark is arguably this little thing, but this is the nebulosity around it. I was expecting that we'll have broken clouds. Actually, the forecast is still calling for broken clouds all night. They call it partly cloudy, but they're not moving fast enough for us to stack more images. The picture of the nebula that I put up is a very, very wide angle. Regular telescopes can get the shark, but I'm hoping that experimenting with Dwarf 3 will eventually get the right angle, right location, right framing, and get it done eventually. Okay, we stacked one more, so let's hope we have a break now so we can start stacking again. Jeannie, it is safer for you to be with us than to be on the roof right now. We're stacking. When I submit this image to astrometry, it's labeling only one star for me, and I don't know why it is showing a line. This is basically what it's showing us. 16 Sep is the only star it's showing, 16 Cepheus. And the orientation is not clear. I don't know what that green line is. Well, I hope you are out by Monday. I did Jacob, but given that Dwarf 3 is in equatorial mode, I cannot count on the orientation, and astrometry is cautioning me that the orientation of my image may not be correct. I was hoping that they would label at least one more star so I can orient myself. Right now this is 16 Sep, 16 Cepheus. They did not label this one, which would have given us clarity as to which way we are oriented. Good evening, Vesenhad. When I look at Stellarium, it shows me that 16 Sep is to the upper left of LDN1235. Not too far, but far enough that we could be outside the field of view. Jacob, you're probably correct given the four tiny stars coming towards it. I can see this pattern and this one. So if this is HD 211300, the question becomes, that is good news, because if I draw a straight line from 16 sep to HD 211300, then LDN will be right next to it. So with that in mind, that means that Dwarf 3 was able to perfectly go to 1235. Yeah, only 19 stacked thanks to the clouds. It stacked the first 15 fairly quickly, but then it took 60 rejected frames to stack 4 more. Yeah, I decided to go with 60-second exposures to see what happens to the stars, and they seem to be reasonably round. Hello Pico. How is Aberdeen today? How is Scotland? What? So according to astrometry.net, uh-oh. This is 16 sep. And this is the green line. And this is then, in that case, HD 211300. So the dark shark is here, although some people argue that this is the shark, that's the mouth, and that this is the eye. Regardless, it's a very, very beautiful picture. But what astrometry.net tried to do is they tried matching what I submitted so that the green line is in the same place and the 16 sep is there. So it'll be a very long night to get to this, and with a bit of luck the clouds will move out. No, I took my own darks, Jacob. I decided not to cut corners on this imaging session. Calibrated carefully, lined up the scope, the tripod very carefully, equatorially, and then took the darks. Taking the darks was the longest part of the initialization because it took 10 frames at 1 minute each. The major debate here is whether to take the pictures with or without filters. I've seen many stacked pictures of the dark shark taken with without any filter. Just the visual filter, no dual band, no IR, straight visual. So again, we will have a chance to experiment. I'm using the dual band filter tonight. Jacob, 8 hours dual band, 30 hours no filter. Is that on the dark shark? Okay. Pico, I don't think they have 19,000 orders. I think they started counting somewhere in the 15 or 16,000 when they started taking orders for Dwarf 3. Allow me to go through a quick slideshow of Stellina images. These are totally unprocessed, straight out of the telescope, and have not had a chance to go back and look at so let me walk you through these quickly. As I mentioned, these are unprocessed Stellina images. This is Saturn, Moon. Not sure what this is. I'll have to go back and look and see what they are. That's the bubble nebula with Stellina. The two veils. That's the Iris Nebula. Crescent, This is M33 Triangulum. Not sure if this is that is the Pelican, Dumbbell, Eagle, Nebula, and Pillars of Creation, and that is the Cocoon. I mean, this is incredible, totally unprocessed, straight out of Stellina. Anyway, so I'm hoping that Vaonis don't blow it completely with their announcement the way they did when they went from Stellina down to Vespera. Now, since we are among friends here, I'm going to show you a quick comparison between Seestar and Dwarf 3. These were all taken the past week, past 10 days. You should be able to tell which is Dwarf and which is Seestar, because Seestar is portrait mode as opposed to landscape. So this was the helix. That is the flame and horse head. That's the Heart Nebula. That's, I believe, the Soul Nebula. Cocoon. That's M1. Andromeda. M42, Orion. M81 and 82. Pac-Man. And then California. Veil. I think that's it. Yep. We did M1 with D3, but nothing to write home about. There it is. It was right around a full moon, or close enough to a full moon. About the same dimensions. Seestar and Dwarf 3 have about the same field of view vertically, and the big difference is horizontally, obviously. Yeah, there is potential of spending a lot of time on M1. M1 has incredible detail. It can be a very, very beautiful target. I want to see if I can grab Peter, you mean for Dwarf? I have it on because I can get both pre-AI and post-AI images in on the SD card eventually. It has improved quite a bit. It used to be a bit radical initially. Now it's doing slightly better. Now this is M1 taken by the 11-inch scope without any auto guiding. So this was a freewheeling scope as you can tell from the stars. But the incredible detail of the crab, and this one was taken by Seestar. Pico, I'm hoping very much that it is the same field of view. I don't see them going narrower, but probably more glass. What I can report on is my first-hand discussions with the Seestar team at the Northeast Astronomy Forum at NEAF. I asked specifically about a larger aperture Seestar, and she said, we have a large aperture team, and we were hoping to be further along with the development, but we are not. This is a crab with Stellina. We definitely want to spend a lot of time on the Crab Nebula. It is a beautiful target. When we fix the 16-inch scope in Oswego, that'll be one of the targets I'd like to do with it. Good night, Gina. Probably not Bill. I am not on their beta test team. I have not approached Seestar yet. If you look at astrospheric, you will see a very clear line of clouds, and the difference between the clear sky and the clouds, we are sitting right at the edge. We just need those clouds to move just a touch. Right now we seem to be in the clouds, not in the clear. Recapping what I have learned so far about Dwarf 3 in the 10 days or so that I have had it, it is the only telescope on the market that will do live real-time stacking of wide angle, as in 60-degree field of view, for things like Milky Way, Vaonis, folks. Vaonis is a possibility. I got to know them very well. I was an early adopter of Stellina, and I had a serious interest in Hyperia, that $40,000 monster. I was talking to them about possibly buying one for a local organization. We could have raised the money to buy it, but I don't think they ever made them. Well, I don't think they ever sold them. They may have made one, but that would have been a tremendous scope. So the wide angle view, the dual band filter is a big step up from Dwarf 2. So far it seems to be very comparable to Seestar's dual band filters. And then the third big issue, Dwarf remains the only telescope that you can calibrate on a clear part of the sky and then turn it and have it point into the woods or into the trees looking for a comet, and it has no problem doing that. All the others insist on plate solving at the target. Yes, Bill, I have a very close relationship with Celestron. I've been using it for Nebula primarily. I can show you a comparison between D2 and D3. and coming. All right, this is D2. This is D3, and never mind the fact that it's not framed properly, but all those stars that are not emitting either O3 or H-alpha get removed by the filter. They're gone. That is the Heart Nebula with D2, and that's the Heart with D3. These are totally unprocessed and not long enough exposures. So that's D2, that's D3, that's using the filter. Andromeda, D2 still does excellent. That's D2, that's D3, barely any difference. That is M34, nothing exciting. What I want to point at is my Dwarf 2 has always had bad looking stars when the IR filter, when it is IR cut. IR pass, they look a lot better. And here you can see the big difference with the California Nebula, 1499. So that's what the dual band filter does. It enhances the O3 and H-alpha emissions, and these come from primarily stars that are either burning or forming, and from the nebulosity. And this is without the dual band filter, and this is with the dual band filter. Both the D2 and the D3 for that comparison were 10-second exposures. I think yeah, I don't know that you can read it, but all of these were 10-second. Yeah, they are all 10-second. Pico, you're talking about Jacob here, the guy who used his Seestar so much the plastic gears are worn. Actually, not only has he used it so much, he used it in equatorial mode. I don't see any way out of metal gears for the next Seestar if they are going with the bigger lens. I don't see them getting away with plastic again. I know you hear Jacob, but whenever somebody talks about Seestar's gears, I think of you. So we have not stacked anything in about an hour now. We're going to give it another 45 minutes or so. If the skies don't clear, I'm going to call it a night before tomorrow, before midnight. I don't think so, Bill. I think the new Seestar will use metal gears. By the way, just for the record, the Dwarf 3 has been extremely accurate in when I do a go-to to a target, and it has been extremely good in tracking. Seestar does corrections through plate solving as it is tracking. Dwarf does not, yet it is very, very good at tracking. By the way, the Dwarf folks use friction drive as opposed to gears. Yeah, Jacob, going with metal gears would not be a bad idea. The 16-inch telescope in Oswego, we have diagnosed part of the problem. It goes right, it goes left, it goes down, it does not go up. That is using the hand controller. Same when I control it via ASCOM. It goes right, it goes left, it goes down, doesn't go up. And we're still unable to determine if the problem is mechanical, electrical, or electronic. So on the third, we're going to be spending a lot of time with an RS-232 breakout box and cables and oscilloscopes, putting all that electrical engineering knowledge back into use to try to find out if we can diagnose the problem so we can move to the fixing it phase. Small animals, yes, they have access to the telescope. It is sitting in an observatory, and there are lots of wasps' nests inside the observatory. There are two snakes that keep me company, one big one and one small one, and haven't seen any birds in there. In doing our research, Jacob, we found one person reporting a similar problem turned out to be the MOSFET power transistor that had failed. So you're not too far off, possibly. Now we have to cast the situation in Oswego within the context of that's a telescope that has been sitting out for 11 years, 11 winters, 11 summers. There is no temperature control, obviously, in the observatory. So I don't know at what point those swings in temperature from 100 plus to 0 minus, if you will, if any component will eventually fail because of that. Our plan of action now is to get directly to the motor itself and apply the right voltage and see if we can get it to move upwards. It has to be the same motor that is moving either up or down. I doubt they have two separate motors that are driving it. According to AccuWeather, it's clear outside. Good point, Jacob. These are going to be a lot easier to replace than taking the 250-pound scope off an 8-foot high pier. Have a good night, Bill. Sorry it wasn't more exciting than this. Jacob, I just emailed Celine at Vaonis offering to become an early tester for their new product, the one that they plan to announce next week. We're stacking again. Let's hope we don't stack one frame every hour. I'm sitting by the window, I'm looking outside. It is stacking. Doesn't mean it's not raining. Let me check again. The good news is it is not raining. Well, last week I had Seestar out imaging the sun, and I went for a run, and at the farthest point of my run, clouds moved in and it started raining. I had a very good run back, made it in time to bring Seestar in, and fortunately there was no damage, even though it was drenched in water. Now, I don't know if you guys knew that, but Stellina has a rain detector that will shut down the instrument if it detects rain. Not sure whether it is an optical type detector like the ones you have for your windshield washers on the newer cars, the automatic turn the washers on and off, the wipers I mean, sorry, or whether it is a water detector per se. Okay, we have stacked 4 frames now in a row, so let's hope we are on a roll. This was the situation in Manchester the first few weeks I was there. We had fog pretty much all the time. And the joke is when you ask the local, is it always foggy here? They answer with indignation, no, not when it is raining. Pico, I would take Scotland any day over northwest England. Pico, I'm looking at the light pollution map, and there are some very nice dark skies on the west side of Scotland, but not much on the east side. So if you were to go due west from where you are, there are quite a few dark areas there. Retiring in a week, congratulations. It appears that we are stacking now. Only very slightly, Peter. We can reset it. I was trying to reduce the walking noise. Probably. Hello, Kirk. Well, it's almost tomorrow. Station identification. This is the Pompey Observatory, and we are testing the new Dwarf 3 on what is arguably the hardest target in the deep skies, and that is LDN1235, the Dark Shark Nebula. I did that a couple days ago. Let me see if I can pull it up. This was NGC 281, straight out of Dwarf 3. It was only 10-second exposure. And it was not equatorial mode, it was just Alt as. Thanks, Kirk. Kirk, I took darks tonight before I started imaging LDN1235. It says it's stopping at 6 out of 20. It does not need to take all 20. It only took 10 frames in my case. It only took 10 darks, and it did say that it was 6 out of 20. I don't know if that is the total capacity of darks at various exposures or not, but it does not take all 20 for a given session. I used to have that problem with the Dwarf too. Stars that looked like eggs, like Easter eggs. I'm starting to see some nebulosity around 16 Cepheus. Oh no, we stopped stacking again. Ah. Kirk, we try to go live whenever the weather is good, actually even when the weather is not good like tonight, so please join us often. Ouch. Why do you have 3 Dwarf 2s? Okay, fair enough. What manual? No, I did not read the manual. I am one of the beta testers for the Dwarf 3, I've been helping Dwarf Lab develop both the app and the firmware. This is another nice thing about Dwarf. It does not give up on stacking even when it went about 100 frames, just about an hour and a half in clouds. It was able to keep tracking. The only thing that I have dropped was the solar filter for the Dwarf 2, and I dropped it from 2 floors up. It fell all the way down on concrete and it bounced and it did not break. I have not tried dropping the telescopes yet. Peter, they are unstretched fits, so they will look black. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not looking good at all outside. So it is time to call it a night, get a couple hours sleep, and then try to look for the comet, hoping that the clouds will break. This attempt at LDN1235 we will repeat again when we have a clear night. In the meantime, I'm gonna go downstairs and bring Dwarf in. So I wish you all a good night, and we will meet again. So long from the Pompey Observatory.